be here at the Economic Times Global Legal Convention and Awards. The tagline reads, Forging Future Legal Excellence, representing LexLegis.AI. I'm here. We are at the forefront of AI-driven legal transformation. Pardon my voice, I'm just been recovering from a slight throat issue. My name is Saakar Yadav. I and my team members have founded LexLegis.AI, and I'm going to speak today a bit about the journey, and at the end maybe happy to take up some questions, etc. Today we live in a world where legal teams face an overwhelming volume of contracts, compliance requirements and litigation risks, often with constrained budgets. In this reality, the general counsels and the law firms are not just legal advisors, but strategic business enablers. The big question is, how can AI help GCs and law firms drive efficiency, more importantly mitigate risks, and of course create value for your clients or the firm that you work in. Legal work has long been seen as complex, time-consuming and expensive. But what if I told you that law itself is going to become easier? We know that AI is simplifying drafting for sure. We see a lot of companies simplifying drafting. But we are now able to simplify legal research. For the first time in the world, we are able to give you an IRAC format in LexLegis.AI with explainable AI. I'll speak about IRAC a little more in a few minutes, but does anybody here know what IRAC stands for? Issue research, analysis, conclusion. Just because she's answered, can I have one preamble, the wooden preamble given to her so that the crowd becomes a little more interactive? Is anybody coming? I'm gonna reward you. Please, can you stand up? Is anybody coming? So this is a wooden, handcrafted preamble copy. All right. So I think if I get more answers in between, I'm gonna run. We don't have time. I think there's a photographer coming. You can smile. Please introduce yourself. Dilip, do you have more wooden preambles? Or do you have more? Okay, because of these changes, the legal industry is witnessing a radical transformation. And I don't know if all of you know, but which major players who are now coming in the legal fraternity. There is a large consulting firm which has got into legal practice outside India. Can anybody here name that? Who said that? Inko bhi dijiye. Now imagine KPMG, which has originally been a corporate and a tax consulting company in the US, has just last week announced that they are starting KPMG Law. Earlier they used to have a lot of partners and they used to work with these partners. But imagine what changed here. This person here. So you have to stand up there, give it to somebody else. You can just speak your name please, loudly. So KPMG has started a dedicated legal team to serve corporate clients. We all know that the big fours have a lot of corporate clients, and now they're entering into law, signaling how legal services are being disrupted. AI is not an efficiency tool. I think all of you who are thinking, I'm going to look at it in the next 3 months, in the next 5 months. I think, let me just warn you that AI is not an efficiency tool. It is an industry shake-up. A lot of people say that, I have heard of arguments where people say that AI is going to take away jobs. No, AI is not going to take away any jobs. But the mindset of not adopting technology, in this case AI, is going to make you obsolete. And now if you see the KPMG part, What has happened? What is the radical shift that KPMG has entered into law? The radical shift is that they are able to give the same quality of service with far lesser people that they were earlier outsourcing to legal firms, and they had a few partners. Now they are able to do it themselves. To understand this shift, let's take a step back. AI in legal tech has evolved significantly. In the early automations, we had simple contract templates and e-discovery tools. Then came machine learnings, etc., where we had keyword-based searches. You all used databases where you could search within the same paragraphs, etc. And in today's generative AI and LLMs, semantic-based searches, now AI can draft, review, summarize, and even predict legal risks and with greater accuracy. Apart from that, in case you all want to see a demo, you could go and see that it could do legal research for you. Legal AI is just not a trend, it is an irreversible shift. The question is no longer if, but how you can integrate AI responsibly and effectively. AI's impact on the legal profession can be broken into three core areas. We did a significant study in the market, and we found that these are the three core areas that any legal department, the general counsel's office, or the law firms do. We call it the legal aid. As you can see the punchline somewhere, it says your trusted legal aid. So AID stands for ask, interact, and drafting. After extensive research, we were able to conclude in various GC offices and law firms that these are the three main work. Ask is an AI-driven legal research and a question answer platform, providing instant, reliable insights on case laws and regulations. We started way back in 1998, where we started collecting the largest database of judgments in the country. In 2014, I was heading the CDPC of the National Judicial Reference System, where we were able to club multiple appeals using machine learning. That time AI as a word was not there, machine learning, and we were able to suggest closure of cases to the finance ministry, etc., where those issues were already decided at a Supreme Court level or a High Court level, but it was still going on in the criminal court. So we were able to bunch those appeals for faster closure. In 2013, in 2023, we started experimenting with our large database with AI. We were very impressed with the likes of ChatGPT and other models that were there, the GPT models that were there. But we realized one thing, and that it hallucinated. Can I ask you all, you all have a phone, can you show me your phone please? Please take it out. I'm not going to ask you to switch it off. And especially the people who have won awards. Excuse me, sir? Especially the people who have won the awards, you have to participate more. Please take off your phone, take out your phone and open your WhatsApp. How many iPhone users here? Please raise your hand. And how many Android users here? Please raise your hand. It's equal in number, alright. So please open your WhatsApp and start typing a message to somebody close. I'm going to show you what hallucination is. Start typing a message to somebody whom you know within your firm. The iPhone users, press the plus button when you type the message. There's a plus button? Yes? And the Android users, you have a U clip or a James clip or a paper clip icon, press that. You see certain logos there, contact, etc. There will be a button there called Imagine. Do you all see? Anybody sees Imagine? Please raise your hands. Only so many people? Alright. So click Imagine and all of you on the table write the same message. Alright? A monkey sitting on a horse on the moon with a carrot in your hand. A monkey sitting on a horse on the moon with a carrot in your hand. You're not doing it? Punjabis don't do it? Oh. I mean, yesterday you introduced yourself as Punjabi. I thought I should introduce myself from Bihar. So, a monkey is sitting on a horse on the moon with a carrot in its hand. Did anybody get the output? Did you see the image coming? If anybody on the table has got the outputs, and if two of you have got the output, you will see that all of your images are something new. Alright? All the images are something new. Okay? And this kind of image creation, we love it. When you tell it to write a letter for your child, a school leave letter or an application, GPT models tend to create a letter. GPT models tend to create images, you love it. But what if it created judgments for you that did not exist? The same technology which you are wow about, you would say, oh, this technology is bad. A recent case in Wyoming, US, involving Morgan & Morgan, it highlighted the risk of AI misrepresentation. A judge threatened to sanction 2 lawyers of Morgan & Morgan for quoting fictitious judgments. So they submitted, this is just last week, you may have read the news that a tribunal member cited 3 false judgments in its order. So once 2 Supreme Court and 1 High Court, it mentioned in its order. And the 3 orders of the judgments just did not exist. So it was not a wrong judgment quoted. For example, I am dealing with a case on, say, a criminal law, and by mistake I cited a case which deals with agriculture possibly. That's fine. I mean, it's a human clerical mistake. But what happened was that in these cases, they asked certain GPDs to draft and give them judgments. The judgment gave them citations with reasoning as to why this judgment is important for your case. Possibly also giving the citation numbers. When the judgment it was Sukhvinder Singh versus State of Punjab versus Sukhvinder Singh versus State of Punjab 2011 possibly could not be a case itself. And those kind of cases were cited in the output. In the Wyoming case, the lawyers submitted it. It was a Walmart case. And I'm not even talking of, hundreds of cases have got unreported, where the lawyers would have got a flank in the court, but it was a Walmart case. I mean, I'm sure Walmart doesn't pay you like $1,000 an hour or something. They're paying serious money. And the other was a member. I mean, member is almost a judge, a tribunal member. Hallucination is a big problem. And at LexLegis, we are exactly addressing this. In fact, you will see the front page ad in the Mint today that we have written a very big ad saying, no hallucination. Is there a paper that I will get? We are proudly proclaiming that our models, we have been able to deeply ground it, so that any output that you get, we're going to back you with relevant, authentic citations, all the court judgments that you will rely on. Moreover, we give you an explainable AI. It's called LexAI. So you will see today's ad like this. The front loudly proclaiming what we are doing is no hallucination. See, you see, in legal, in medical, and in finance, you cannot tell somebody that you have got cancer when he does not have cancer, or you cannot tell somebody that you don't have cancer when you have cancer. In law, you cannot be inaccurate. So it's a black and white. If you see our logos and everything, it's all black and white. We're not trying to have shades of grey. I think that makes it evidently clear. So we're giving you 2 things. Number 1, we give you an explanation to every output that our AI is giving. As to why I am saying this. I am referring to this document, and in most cases you'll be able to open this document and see the original document. Number 2, you will get an IRAC output. IRAC stands for Issue, Rule, Application and Conclusion. So we are also launching a few more formats that internationally accepted and taught in Ivy schools. It's CREAC, IRAC, etc. And you'll be able to select what kind of output you are able to get. And for the first time, and I'm proud to say, an Indian company based in Mumbai, we have been able to sort this out, give you a non-hallucinated content, which is an IRAC format output, and I welcome you all to go there. So the first was ask, interact and draft, legal aid. The second is interact. It's an AI-assisted contract review and negotiation, enabling real-time interactions with legal documents. So you could possibly, you're doing a due diligence, you could upload 100 documents and say, draft me this, find out if there has been any legal case that is pending. Or compare all the GST numbers, find out all the related parties that they're dealing with across documents and give you a list. Alright, find if Mr. Mehta is involved in any of the legal transactions. So we did a pilot with, anybody not heard of Enron here, please raise your hand. Enron, all of you who have heard of Enron, please raise your hand. And all those people who are not doing anything, I don't know what it means. So what happened was, you know about the Enron case, right? So what we did, there were about 300,000 emails of Enron that is publicly available, that the courts in the US made it publicly available for people. We ingested that and started asking questions. We could ask questions like, whom did the CFO or the CEO write the maximum emails where there was nobody else in CC? Which employee directly wrote to the CEO for leave? Which of the emails had discussed this issue in particular? Imagine doing this kind of a due diligence requires weeks and months of work. And these outputs were coming in seconds. How much clarity you would have, otherwise what would happen? You give it to a battery of interns and they would say, okay, fine, and they are drafting, searching, etc. And they come out with the report after 5 days, you are on some other case already and you have lost interest. What if you could have an interaction and we could be your legal intern, just slightly quicker, maybe in seconds, and you could ask questions like, did the CEO write any email to Jeff? Did Jeff reply anything to that? Okay, give me all the list of emails where there was a meeting scheduled on one-to-one. These are the places where you catch what was going on. And these kind of questions you could ask. So that's the interact. And the drafting, AI-powered document generation, we are now launching slowly notice replies, etc. Drafting is a major problem in India, good legal language. So when we were doing the NJRS, the National Judicial Reference System, we, for the Government of India, made the largest repository of appeals in the world. And in that, we found out the quality of appeal writing was so much different. See, you cannot train our model on the judgments. Judgments are from the court side. Appeal writing and drafting has to come from good lawyers, and so train them on a lot of good appeals that is there, therefore the quality is coming out to be excellent. We are now also working on a predictive analysis engine where we will be able to predict what can happen to your case. And you could possibly in the next few months draw out a map, assuming this is a court, and you could draw, if I say this, what are the possibilities that the other parties will accept, or what are the, so you could load a bunch of documents, you could upload a appeal, a petitioner's reply, a rejoinder or whatever it is, and you could ask, say, I am going to argue this. What are the possible replies that the opposite party will give? Okay, to this first reply, if I give this, what are the possible? So we are working on these kind of predictive analysis engine. It's going to be fun using the engine in the future. This few months away. We also hear now that India litigation funding is coming up in a big way, which I thought was not there in India. We in Delhi, in one of the recent seminars, we met a couple of people, one of them listed, who's got into litigation funding. And they were like really begging us that, can you give us this, if our engine can predict you that these are the reasons that you will win, they are going to take big bets on the litigation funding, right? But AI is not without challenges. Data privacy and security is a big issue. AI systems need to access large data sets, but it should do it confidentially. It must be safeguarded. How do we do it? So we have an elaborate security measure that we're doing it. It'll be interesting for some of you to know that technically with one of the very large technology institutes in India that I cannot name right now, we are working on an offline AI system. An AI system, it should be out around Diwali, an AI system which will run on your local machines, not on your GPU machines, which will run on your Intel i5, i7 or your Mac processors, and your internal documents that you have. You may just ask questions there. So it will not go up. So just to tell you that even in Copilot, when you're writing something and if it's reading, it's going somewhere now. And your profession is such, and it's so risky, that things like professional ethics and client confidentiality is a big issue. For example, if there is a very big corporate who threw a flower vase to a driver to catch, and the driver missed it and it hit his head and he died, and now there is a case going on. And now if there is an email that has been sent to you, that, and this corporate head writes that I threw it just for him to catch and he missed it, it's not my fault. Whether he is guilty or not guilty will be proven, but this is admission of guilt, this is admission of the act. Do you want to upload this on the web? Do you rely on us? Let me start with that. Do you rely on Facebook? Do you rely on Microsoft? I think it's a big question mark, and you'll have to grade what you can upload and what you cannot upload. So I think that's a very, very big question for you to ask. And to answer this, we are coming with an offline system which you could run it on your normal CPUs, right? So it will not be an LLM, it will be an SLM. It's a small language model, especially focused for your smaller. You don't have petabytes of data. What is petabytes? Anybody can tell me here? Alright, it says bytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes. Alright, everything gets multiplied by 1024. Right, so you don't have petabytes, you don't even have terabytes of data. You just have gigabytes of data. So the two issues, privacy and biases in the AI model. So we have trained on a very large set that our models do not hallucinate and also bias free. That we don't only train it on certain reported judgments. Just to give you a comparison, we did a study on certain corporate laws, for example. All the database industry in the market in India, we're also launching a US model soon and the UK model. They had something like 150,000 judgments and orders on that particular act, on those particular acts. We had close to 350,000. What happened? They were only reporting reportable judgments, and they were not reporting unreported judgments. But the answers we have found that sometimes it is also there in unreported judgments. Because earlier it used to be book format, so they used to only quote the reported judgments. But what about unreported judgments? So to make it bias-free, we have to ensure that all kind of cases, whether reportable or unreportable, have to be online. You know, in future, it's a food for thought for everybody. Yesterday, we had a lady here from Charity Ventures. She spoke about a huge backlog of cases. We have about 40 million cases. That's about 4 crore cases that are pending at various courts. Can anybody tell me how many courts, in the sense, not court complexes, courtrooms are there in the country? You could be wrong by a 10% here and there. Anybody, how many courts? 100, 500, anybody to answer that? How many courtrooms are there in India? Nobody? There are 18,000 courtrooms in India. 18,000, counting the district courts, etc. 18,000 courtrooms in India. Alright? And there are 40 million cases, 4 crore cases pending. Many people see this as a problem. I don't see this as a problem at all. You know what is happening? That as AI is going to simplify the legal processes, reporting of legal violations are going to become much, much easier. As the law becomes more accessible in vernacular, etc., there will be more people taking legal actions. I am expecting another 10 crore cases to be piled up in these 18,000 cases or courts over the next 4 years' time. And that's really the big elephant in the room that we need to address. We spoke to some very senior people across the country, and they said that these were mostly related to real estate conflicts, insurance, contract violations, and smaller corporate disputes. To resolve all this, the government of India is pushing across an ODR and ADR platforms. They are wanting to push, and we are trying to work towards. If anybody of you are interested, please meet Mr. Prashant Shah, who is the CFO here. Please raise your hand, show your face. To everybody standing up, please, thank you. So we are working on ODR. ODR stands for Online Dispute Resolution and Alternate Dispute Resolution. Certain banks, etc., in their agreements are already now writing that you should have an ODR clause, just 1 minute, ODR clause built in the platform, so that you don't actually go to the court, but you could resolve it amicably in an online dispute forum or a forum like this. We are also looking at opening up an office in the GIFT City to handle alternate dispute resolutions. These tools don't replace lawyers, they augment expertise to enable general counsels and legal teams to cut through legal complexity faster, reduce errors, and make data-driven decisions. That's what LexLegis stands for. My final thoughts and call to action for all the general counsels here and the law firms. AI is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity for staying competitive. My challenge to you is this: how will you integrate AI into your legal strategy? Please hear this carefully. How will you integrate AI into a legal strategy? Please remember that plan is not a strategy. Plan and strategy are two different words, and my question is, what is your legal strategy for this? At LexLegis.AI, we are committed to helping legal teams, corporate legal teams, etc., to use AI safely and effectively. Let's work together to build a legal future that is smarter, faster, and more strategic. Thank you, and I'll be happy to take up any couple of questions that you have. That's okay. Thank you so much.